There's never less than like 30.
A local knitting club celebrates a birthday. More on the milestone and how the group is helping others. Plus, a new way the city is hoping to get more people involved in its recreation programs this year. But first,
and help for planning for more housing and resources.
Volunteers search Anoka County looking for homeless people as part of a statewide effort. You're watching CTN News for Friday, January 29, 2016. Thank you for joining us. More on those stories in a moment, but first, an outbreak of a virus linked to a wave of birth defects in South America makes its way to the U.S.
And the World Health Organization estimates there could be 3 to 4 million Zika infections in the region over the next year. On Wednesday, the Minnesota Department of Health reported the first confirmed case here in Minnesota. A woman in her 60s from Anoka County who traveled to Honduras started experiencing symptoms of the Zika virus on January 1st. She was never hospitalized and is expected to make a full recovery. The Zika virus is a mosquito-borne infection found in other parts of the world and believed to be responsible for a spike in the number of babies born with abnormally small heads in Brazil. Now, nearly 80% of people infected have no symptoms, and there's currently no vaccines or treatments for the Zika virus. Health officials recommend postponing travel to affected areas if you are pregnant or could become pregnant. Streets, shelters, parking lots, tents, or a temporary stay on the couch with friends are what some call home here in Anoka County.
Each year, a one-day survey is done to find out how many people are without a permanent place to live. On Thursday, CTN's Joe Nelson went along for the annual count to find out how big the problem is locally and how many are finding help.
We live in Minnesota and it's cold, and we just want to make sure that everybody has a safe place, a stable place, and everybody deserves a home.
With winter far from over, many in Anoka County still struggle to find a place to warm up. Last year, more than 794 people didn't have a permanent home in the county. Hope Inman, a caseworker with the Salvation Army in Coon Rapids, helped organize volunteers to do a point-in-time count of the homeless this week. Those totals are used to apply for state and federal funding and to plan housing projects.
Looking at maybe some of the typical places and the untypical places that you might see people. Stores, the mall, and just trying to find people that might be hanging out looking for a warm place.
The count ended at the Hope Church in Blaine, where hundreds collect meals from a food shelf each week. Volunteer Marcus Cooper with the Adult and Teen Challenge program says he has a personal connection to helping others.
I was homeless myself, so I know how the struggle is, and just to give them a hope that, you know, they can come out of that.
Tom Scarborough of Fridley also knows what it's like to be homeless and showed appreciation for volunteers and donations.
I think that's a great way to go about it.
Tom and Marcus both said they've seen addictions lead to homelessness, but offered encouragement.
The help is out there, and you have to do whatever it takes to find the help, and can't do it on your own.
If there's any negatives, try to turn a negative into a positive and work hard.
Inman says other reasons people become homeless can be mental health issues, the housing market, or a crime on someone's record that may even be decades old, preventing them from finding work or housing. For information on how to help, go to our website at ctnstudios.com. Steve and Karen?
All right. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
The Anoka County Board has adopted its legislative platform for the 2016 session. Tops on the list, several transportation projects, including the expansion of Highway 10 from 4 to 6 lanes through Coon Rapids. The county also wants to secure state funding for more improvements on Highway 10 in Anoka and Ramsey. In addition, Anoka County will lobby for state funding for railroad grade separation projects, including money for an overpass at the double railroad tracks on Hanson Boulevard. The 2016 legislative session gets underway on March 8th.
Work is moving forward on plans for that overpass at the double railroad tracks on Hanson Boulevard. On Tuesday, the Anoka County Board approved a service agreement for the design of the railroad overpass. SRF Consulting will do the work for nearly $1.1 million. SRF was not the low bidder, but county officials say the group was superior to the other bidders when it came to public outreach, neighborhood traffic management evaluation, and the construction schedule. The project still needs $12.6 million from the state.
More people are using mass transit in the Twin Cities, according to new data released this week by Metro Transit. Last year, overall ridership on buses and trains was up 1.4% to its highest level since 1981. However, more people are ditching the bus in favor of light rail and commuter rail. Bus ridership dropped more than 8% last year. Locally, North Star ridership increased slightly over 2014. More than a dozen parishioners from Epiphany Catholic Church, including 11 high school students, are back home after quite an ordeal following a March for Life rally in Washington, D.C. During last weekend's blizzard, their buses, along with hundreds of other vehicles, became stranded for 22 hours on a Pennsylvania turnpike. The groups made the best of it with an impromptu mass on the highway, complete with an altar constructed out of snow. That is quite the ordeal to be stranded there.
Way to deal with it.
All right, the Coon Rapids Parks and Recreation Department is adding something new in 2016.
A park and rec brochure will be arriving in homes this spring. CTN's Jordan Rylands joins us now with more. Jordan?
Karen and Steve, the comprehensive brochure will be distributed to homes in Coon Rapids in a few months, and that means searching for the programs, classes, and activities you'd like to take part in just got a little easier. Funding for the new brochure was approved by the City Council in 2015, and now residents can look forward to a 12-page brochure that lists all of the programs Coon Rapids has to offer in one place.
Knowing that we have different aspects of our park and rec programs and departments that are kind of sporadic in the community, so we wanted to bring the senior center, golf course, ice arena, and recreation programs together in one publication to really emphasize and focus on that.
And one new program that the city has added this summer is stand-up paddleboard yoga. The brochures will be in homes in early April. Steve and Karen?
It sounds like a very good variety.
Yes, we look forward to Steve trying that stand-up paddleboard yoga.
That sounds a little complicated. I don't know.
We signed him up already.
Perfect.
Great.
Let's do
it.
All
right. Thanks, guys. This week marks a milestone for a local knitting circle. Since 2003, the Nitwits have been meeting and knitting once a week at the Culver's restaurant on Coon Rapids Boulevard. And as CTN's Steve Antis reports, it's a labor of love that's touched thousands of lives.
Happy birthday, dear Nitwits. Happy birthday to you.
Well, we sure didn't know it was going to keep going this long.
To mark this milestone, one has to spin a yarn.
We started in January 13 years ago, and there were only 4 of us.
Working as Culver's community marketing consultant, Becky Thompson co-founded the Nitwits when she met the late Yvonne Iyer, who was reading a book in the restaurant.
And I went up to her and teased and said that we did face painting for boys and girls of all ages. She said, "Oh, I can't, I'm going to go teach a class." And I said, "Well, what are you going to teach?" And she said, "Knitting."
From there they grew, mostly by word of mouth. Their mission, to donate knitted items to help those in need.
These gals are fantastic.
Since day one, restaurant owner Jim Hannay has opened up his place on Tuesdays after the lunch rush to give the Nitwits a place to work.
Sometimes it gets a little hard to find a parking spot here, but what they do and where they've gone and the people that they've reached out to, that's just a blessing.
It's a very positive atmosphere. And, you know, I've learned a lot about Social Security and Medicare.
Sue Bembenek says the Nitwits have donated their handcrafted items far beyond Anoka County.
Just this last 3 months, we did 1,103 items. That's just in 3 months. So $30,000 for 13 years.
They collect about 50 items each week.
I don't know where it's going to be donated, but someone's going to get a nice little hat.
Their needles are going a mile a minute. They do so much good.
Steve Antis, CTN News.
I always got room for them.
If you're interested in joining the Nitwits, all you have to do is show up on Tuesday afternoons between the hours of 1 and 3 p.m. at the Culver's off Coon Rapids Boulevard.
Snowflake Days is finally here, and there's lots to see and do over the next 2 weeks. A new event tonight features a movie on ice at the Coon Rapids Ice Center. Mighty Ducks will be shown at 7:30 p.m. On Saturday, the medallion hunts begin. The first clue will be released at 8 a.m. for the adult hunt. A $500 cash prize is up for grabs. The kids' medallion hunts, one for the girls and one for the boys, ages 5 to 10, begins at 10:30 a.m. at Al Flynn Park. Saturday evening, a sock hop takes place at Sand Creek Elementary School from 4 to 6 p.m. On Sunday, there's lots to do, including a cookies and canvas event for the kids from noon to 2 at the Coon Rapids Ice Center. There's also a beanbag tournament from 1 to 4 at the Coon Rapids American Legion. And another new event, Family Day at the Coon Rapids Ice Center from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m., followed by family skating and an indoor kids ice fishing contest from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. For a complete list of those Snowflake Days activities, flip on over to CTN Channel 14.
And there's lots of them. The alumni game's coming up a week from today, Saturday, February 6th at the Coon Rapids Ice Center, so that'll be a lot of fun as well. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here again next week.